game long. Like since U18 release, they've been in that number 2, 3 spot, just behind our leaders, Omit Brooklyn, who we got to see just last game. Pot of Gold, a little bit of a newer name here, but it's going to be interesting to see how things go here, as Pot of Gold is off to a very strong start. As I say that, I do see that Galaxy has pretty much completely changed their roster. Shifu, who actually used to play for Galaxy, coming in on Pot of Gold here. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how this shakes out. Plex Jinwoo going to be able to find one there. Masso going to be able to find Gdrix. And yeah, Pot of Gold going to collect this early time on this P1. Going to be looking at about 30 seconds of time collected. However, attentions have flipped to P2, and Pot of Gold once again in the driver's seat for that as well. Going to be able to collect scrap and grab initial. This is a big read.
Whoa, what a read!
Absolutely beautiful. And yeah, we're Pot of Gold off to a hot start here.
Yeah, whether or not, if the luck is on their side for this valiant P2 hold, we'll find out in just a couple of seconds here. Royal and a little bit of chips here and there from downstairs. Nobody's home, though, at the end of the day, and AA will get the shutdown and a nade kill as well in the feed. A Pot of Gold will reign as they're reigning on the board for P2. A little bit of ring around the rosy as well. Finally, Reckless finds one, and Royal capitalizing on that gets a trade for the second, but Masso on a 5 spree, make it 6. Not getting the 7th, but still doing a lot of damage here early P2. But finally, Galaxy has been able to make that break. But goodness, not for very long, as Pot of Gold are right back to where they were starting.
Yeah, just beautiful play at a AA there to get that player off scrap. And it looks like initial, once again, is going to go to Pot of Gold. They're going to reach that 60-point mark off P2. Make it 61, actually. 61-10, the current score. Miso going to try and clear out this top cat area. And Galaxy going to manage to grab initial here. However, spawns for P4 have been achieved for the side of Pot. It's just a question of if they're going to be able to hold them or not. It doesn't look like it. Click's going to spawn out, going to be able to find the first on time, make it 2. AA going to hop on time as well, going to try and collect the remaining 30 here while simultaneously trying to flip these spawns. Absolutely impeccable timing for AA there, as he's going to be able to find one, make it 2. Plix going to be able to find the third, leaving Miso up in a 1v5 on point, and not going to be able to win that. Sorry, 1v4 on point. Masso is going to be good for that one. And as you can see, looks like Galaxy is going to try for this top cat break, and Gdrix going to be able to get a couple, looking for this player lurking. However, doesn't manage to see him. Miso going to be able to clean that up, though. And once again, Galaxy clawing their way back into this. It's 90-30. I'll tell you what, why don't we break down what the keys to success are on Skyline HP?
Well, we're looking at one right now, to be honest with you. It's that P3 hill. It's known as a money hill. So AA there shooting bodies for quite some time, as him and the boys in green able to make a fantastic break onto P3. It's not normal, ladies and gentlemen. Usually, once you get a team that's situated on this objective here, that we're starting to see Royal Chow himself finding one and the second as well from his teammate, it's usually considered a money hill. So if you're able to get spawns and get spawns to your name early from a P2 rotation over to P3, you can hold for a pretty darn good amount of time, as long as you got those the Amez and the Jackals exactly where they need to be. So above everything, P3, in my opinion, is a recipe for success for this game. It's what Pot of Gold has gotten the majority of time of, and it's reflecting right now on the scoreline across both sides. They've done a good job so far, Pot of Gold, of padding themselves with this nice lead coming around the first rotation fully for the map.
Yeah, this team seems to play extremely well off each other. Miso going to be looking for this player. A teammate in Gdrix going to be able to find him. Miso with some crispy shots cross map with the sub. Good Lord. And yeah, just trades back and forth. Galaxy trying to claw their way back into this. Currently a 50-point disparity. If they soak the rest of this time, going to be only looking at a 30. That is definitely winnable. It's just a matter of locking down these spawns, and Miso left in a 1v4 as all his, sorry, a 2v4 as a player does spawn up, but not looking great. Miso going to be able to find one, not going to be able to find the second, and Shifu manages to clear out the spawns. Going to be catching some players on rotation, going to be able to find one. That is going to be all he finds for now. Masso not going to be able to find anything either. However, spawns still in the hands of Pot of Gold. As I say that, those spawns do flip. They're going to be spawning deep P4, and every second that ticks by is a second closer that Galaxy gets to tying this up. Not quite able to do it on this hill, but going to get darn close if they soak the rest of this time. Big wins out of the Galaxy players. Bit of a choke there. Stopped shooting. Thought the player was dead, and he was not. But Reckless is there to find Shifu. Miso going to be able to find Plix, and this is just not looking great for Pot of Gold. They came out really hot, and they're just not. They're sort of falling short here. They're plateauing.
This is what I really love to see about COD, specifically on hardpoint. You don't ever let anyone tell you it's over until the final whistle blows, because Galaxy U18 has flipped the switch, and just as you said, Pot of Gold had fluidity in their movements. Well, Galaxy has some fluid and some rhythm to dance to as well, as P3 opens up. My apologies, P4 that I said was the money hill. So P4 is the hard point hill that you want to make sure you pad it yourself with. You want to make sure that you can get that money hill and that time as long as possible. Right now, Galaxy has those spawns into the favor that we were saying earlier, but Pot of Gold, no stranger to breaking it as they do. Shifu getting a crucial kill off Drix there as well. The hill has been vacated in the process of Galaxy defending their own spawns. So Jin will jump on through, soak some of that time. It's green on the board until about 3 seconds later, Galaxy crawling back onto that hill. I mean, at this point, they gotta at least take the time because they lost the spawns right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, look at those spawns flip. However, we have seen Galaxy able to break this P4 almost at will. It's going to be interesting to see if Pot of Gold are going to be able to get a better setup going here. You know, 2 instant dead as soon as the hill pops. Make it 3 as Reckless is going to get cleaned up too. Shifu just lurking at this P3, going to be able to clean them all up as they flood through kitchen. Not sure what happened there. G-Drix just sort of decided that Shifu wasn't a threat anymore. I don't know, but Shifu is finally going to get cleaned up in the background, taken off that 5 spree. No real progress here for Galaxy as they go 3 dead, and Masso has got the iron. However, an unfortunate reload timing is going to take him down to 1 shot. AA is good for that one, though. Going to get traded out, but Plix is there for the trade once again, and that is about as damn close as you can get to a full 60 on this hill. Once again, that lead back up to around 50 points. Miso going to be getting this initial here, but Pot of Gold have controlled P1 for the most part. Reckless going to be able to find Shifu. AA going to find Reckless, though. Big pinch coming out of Pot of Gold, and Edric's going to be able to clean that up. However, white time is not your friend right now if you're Galaxy. That just chips away at the time that you could be cutting this lead down. Pot of Gold going to continue to soak this time. Not able to quite win it off this one, but they're going to be just a few seconds shy if they manage to soak the rest of this time.
Oh, yeah, and they're having a field day with it right now. Pot of Gold has found their rhythm, and they are letting the whole world know it off of that Money Hill rotation. It was disgusting. 3 off in the green for every 1 blue from Galaxy, and they've also got spawns in their favor as well. I mean, you've heard it's the buzzword for today, spawns, and Pot of Gold is seeing their spawns like gold coins, and they're taking all of it right now from Galaxy. We got 11 seconds left until the game map number 1 is over. AA 2 minutes and 7 seconds on hill time and leading the pack in the lobby as well. But finally, the waters begin to settle. You can hear it lurking from around corner, way downtown. Pot of Gold getting a couple of kills here and there. Trades on the hill. Bodies being thrown right now. If you're Galaxy, you're desperate because you need to throw everything. You don't want it to end here, but it very well might do it. Meso and Wu in the feed leading off. Shifu with the dagger. That'll be map number 1 in favor of Pot of Gold, who we thought might have some trouble sticking, sticking up with the pace with Galaxy. But my oh my, have we been, put on a performance by these gentlemen today?
Yeah, and I will say something classic with Galaxy is they do tend to start kind of slower. They don't come out of the gate super hot all that often, but they usually do show a bit of fight later in those hard points, and they manage to keep that flow going. They found their flow halfway through that game, and Pot of Gold just slammed the door and said, "No, sir, we don't." Don't come up our back door, sir. Like, yeah, it was absolutely immaculate play out of Pot of Gold. Galaxy did a really good job of bouncing back. They were down big early and they managed to claw their way back into it. But it was once again, it's just too little too late. Like once you get you expel so much energy getting back into the game that eventually you're just, you run out of gas, and you're tied. Essentially you're tied, and Pot of Gold has just kind of been coasting at that point, and they just, they go full throttle at you. They run it down, and they only allow you to gain like 15 more points after your miraculous comeback.
If for those of you that are just joining us, welcome to the U18 opening day on Tuesday. If there's one thing that I would use to describe last map, it was consistency, and it was full of consistency from Pot of Gold. I mean, they didn't really falter that often, and when they did, it didn't happen very long. I mean, we saw, like a good game of tug of war, I should say, from both sides going through that first rotation. But once Pot of Gold put things into four-wheel drive, the consistency throughout their whole map was quite admirable, especially in a map like Skyrise, where you really can't predict movement as well as a map like, for example, Vault. So things have been looking fantastic for this team. The, the problem with Galaxy is they can't trade. And the reason why they can't trade is because Pot of Gold is beating them to those headies and overall beating them with the hot lead and the bullets as a result. I mean, there were so many times where we would see just leading in the feed, not one, not two green cards from Pot of Gold, but three in a row. And Galaxy not able to do much, but I'll tell you where they can do much. A much bigger map flash, a much different mode. This is Search and Destroy Hacienda, and this is where a lot of the slower Ames players will have their bread and butter.
Yeah, we're definitely going to see Shifu tends to just be a whiz at search. I don't know what it is about the kid, but he always seems to pop off. He always somehow impresses me in search. It's definitely going to be interesting to see how this shakes out. He is going to take this opening gunfight. Royal, however, going to win that one on to Plix. Miso Chaling going to be able to find that one.
Oh!
And that's a clean 4 dead, only losing 1 in Royal, who was able to find that first blood. Interesting to see that they're not opting to charge their field upgrades here, but it is what it is. Miso gonna get that bomb defusal and on to the next round.
I think they want to get moving. I think they want to just get things over with. Galaxy is feeling fired up after that. I know I would. I mean, yeah, not much more than a dent has been left after Pot of Gold with a destructive search and destroy ending. Galaxy will start. After Pot of Gold's destructive hardpoint ending, Galaxy U18 will start off with an explosive search and destroy. That's exactly what we want to see, especially after an unfortunate 80-point loss. But here we go, another round. Ball is in the court of Galaxy, and we'll see what they can do when they have the bomb.
Yeah, and Giedrich's going to be able to find that opening blood, and really can't be stated enough how big that opening duel percentage is. Masso not going to be able to spot that player on bomb. However, he has been hurt as he fell in the water. Definitely an accident, but Double A on the pinch, going to get tags in on a player there. There is a player lurking, playing the cutoff. Double A not going to be able to find him, and Galaxy managed to slam the door on the 2v3 retake. It's not looking great for Pot of Gold right now.
They tried pinching. Pot of Gold tried pinching. I mean, they had everything right, but overall, Miso going prone there, completely undetected by Double A, is what was the recipe for success for Galaxy. And just knowing when not to chow, knowing when to hold an angle, and being able to strike at the moment right when your opponent isn't expecting it. Exactly what happened in that last round. And overall, I mean, Galaxy did it on offense, and you said did it on defense as well. So it's gonna be interesting round for Pot of Gold, because last time they were kind of hit with defeat when they went to B. So this time it's gonna be an A push, and I'm liking where they're going so far.
Yeah, it's looking good off the rip. A little to no presence for Galaxy over at this 8 point. However, Pot of Gold have to read this and pick up the pinch, and there is a player lurking top Zebra. However, he's going to get picked up as Plix does fall. Royal going to be able to find another. Shifu going to be able to find one before Double A falls, putting Shifu in a 1v3. Not going to be able to find Reckless, and once again, Pot of Gold just fall flat. They get bombed down. They kind of had numbers for a second and just fall flat.
Around this time in the search and destroy, if you're Pot of Gold, if you're their coach or their IGL, you got to switch up a strategy and figure out how you can throw off Galaxy, because they are looking like a completely different team as opposed to their hard point team that we just saw in the last map. Pot of Gold is crumbling right now under the feet of Galaxy, and it's not even like these rounds are coming 2v1s, 1v1s. They're quite often, more than not, Galaxy with the life advantage and not really giving Pot of Gold any fighting chance to make that round win possible. So now Galaxy, now they're going to take their turn at a crack at A, see how things go for them. Pot of Gold, though, unfortunate read onto B will leave that one left alive dead on the respawn.
Yeah, now I've got a question for you. What if you're Pot of Gold, what do you do here? What is the play call? Do you say slow it down, let's play for picks? What's the move?
Well, things are looking good so far. 3v1 situation. Bomb is down, and you can go ahead and get that defuse. I think they've done a fantastic job at rotating cross map. Okay, so they get that teammate information that he's been taken out because they completely swarmed A. So they've made that beautiful rotation from B towards A, and I think a lot of that just goes into remembering who you are as a COD player, not panicking, not taking any unnecessary chaws, but taking chaws that you know you're going to win, which they did, and also taking chaws where they know a teammate can trade them if they don't win them. That's exactly what Pot of Gold did last round. That's exactly what they should keep looking to do throughout the future. It sounds very cliche to say, but overall, just remembering, COD is 80% mental, 20% mechanics. You got to play the game just as you would in a pubs match, and with the mindset that you're one of the best players in the lobby, and you got to keep your calm in tight situations like this.
I agree. It's very well said, and Plix going to be able to find the opening win there. That's going to be huge for them. However, two players left on this bomb site, getting cut off from the rest of the team, as there is a player lurking in mid. That player opting to rotate, I believe. Masso going to be able to find one. Big two, though, as Miso and Reckless combined for a couple, making this a 2v2. Double A going to make this quick rotation in through mid. Miso may have just been spotted. This could go very badly if you are Galaxy U18.
Huge.
People going to be able to find the first, not going to be able to find the second. However, not much time remains. Only 20 seconds left on the clock. Double A has spotted the player. Going to be able to win that one. Big 1v1.
I love that.
Ice in the veins. Beautiful shoulder peek to throw the player off, and then just peeks back out, fries him. Exactly as Master Splinter would do.
I love that play. I love playing with your time. I love Double A getting that calm. Oh, he's on Rock. He's playing Rock. He's going, okay, let me just take a step back from the situation, take a deep breath. Don't sit there and wait for the chaw. You got 20 seconds left, 7.5 to defuse. So a great job playing with time. And again, Pot of Gold. This map, last map for them, it was consistency. Now it's intentionality. They're playing with these gunfights. They're pushing these chaws and getting these trades with intent, and they're not blindly just spraying and praying with their guns. Bravo, and a great round win from the boys in green.
Yeah, we're hopping on board here with G-Drix. Not off to a great start. Not terrible either. 3-3, but Shifu on the deep flank, already in behind these players over at A. The pickup is there, though. Possibly Miso going to be playing a cruddy corner. Shifu definitely, position is definitely known. That stun is going to hit. Miso not going to be able to read that one, chucks the nade and gets caught with his pants down, so to speak. Double A in this bottom cat area.
Oh,
Not reading the player top cat, but Royal not checking bomb. 17 seconds remaining. They have to find this player. Big stun connection. Royal going to be able to 3-bullet that player. Double A going to be able to find that
oh, he's
one
got it.
quickly to the bomb. He
Oh, has he got it?
manages. He does
Has
have it.
he does have it? Wow! In record time, it was like it was like 0.4 seconds, and Pot of Gold has tied up this game. Let this be a mention, ladies and gentlemen, that the strategy has changed. Pot of Gold has flipped the switch, and they're doing a great job of that. Double A getting the last kill for the past 2 rounds as well. Icing on top. That's got to feel good, my friend. I'm sure it does. And now, just like that, 3v3, or excuse me, 3-3. Pretty tied, both sides. And now Galaxy. Now I got to give them the same advice. Don't falter too much here. You got a 3-round lead. You got to take this map home.
Host has ended game. So I'm not entirely sure what's going on. Maybe somebody disconnected, or there's some controller issues or something. So we're just gonna discuss sort of what we've seen so far and what we'd like to see. You know, Galaxy switch up, Pot of Gold switch up, Pot of Gold continue to do, Galaxy continue to do.
Yeah.
Scabby, what are your thoughts so far?
Well,
What do you think?
I think so far you're right. Shifu is popping off right now, like you said from the rip. I think he's was going 8-5 up to that point, so he's definitely an anchor for his team, and he's someone to be taken seriously. And if you're looking at the side of Galaxy and you chip him off, you get the first pick off him. It's definitely an exciting one, nonetheless, because you're taking out like the ringleader in the search and destroy. So overall, Galaxy with a strong start, but it seems like Pot of Gold, no strangers to pressure and no strangers to being able to keep their composure and issues where they seem like they might lose it, and being able to make that 3-0 comeback so far. So I think we have a series on our hands. I think that by far, obviously, from the last search and destroy we saw, this is a much more engaging, a much more passion-felt, heartfelt search and destroy between the two teams. But I'm gonna get ahead of myself here and even make a prediction that I think by the end of the search and destroy, Pot of Gold is gonna pull through and win, but not before at least 1 to 2, at least 2 more rounds from Galaxy will pull through.
So you think it's going to be a round 11?
Yes.
Okay. You know what? I don't know. This pause kind of came at a weird time. I want it. I like if the game had continued to just play out and we hadn't ended the game. I'm giving it Pot of Gold 6-3. I think they just completely like hit Galaxy with a body blow. They're winded. But this like I said, this pause could be the knife to take Pot of Gold out. You know, this gives Galaxy time to regain it. It ices Pot of Gold a little bit. You know, they're hot. Any streaks that they may have had or been working towards, poof, gone. So it's definitely going to be interesting to sort of see how this plays out and what we're looking at here. I think Double A needs to get a little more activated. You know, he the round prior to the last round, he got 1. The following round, he got 2. You know, two's huge, two's massive, but you know, you got to get yours. You know, you got to win your ones, or at least tag them up enough so your teammate just has to put a bullet in them and to get your trade, and not doesn't have to go chasing. So look for Double A to get activated. Really look for everybody on Pot of Gold except for Shifu to get activated, because that guy's, like we said, 8-5, 8-4, something like that. So just sort of keep an eye on that. But what's my prediction? I think we're going to see Galaxy come out hot from the break. I think they're going to grab the first round, and I think Pot of Gold it sort of pulls the leash back, reins it in, and takes it 6-4.
Well, there's one thing that's for sure. Yeah, that is an ice, regardless whether or not if Pot of Gold is going to be able to go back to where they were just a couple of seconds ago. It's still an ice, even if they weren't. And it's just delaying the series more and building up that pressure and the nerves that go through the bodies of all the players that we get to see. So Has this map restart been the luck that's run out from Pot of Gold, or will they get right back to frying as they did? We'll find out right after this short break. Well, we're back. Back to where we were. It's 3-3 for those of you that are watching right now, and it's A, the decision that Pot of Gold will make on offense.
Yeah, no opening duel here. It's going to be a 4v4 retake, which, you know, it can play well for Pot of Gold. It can also go extremely poorly, as we're seeing now. Is Mazzo going to fall, but Plick's going to be able to find a trade. Double A going to be able to find the trade. Shifu going to be able to find another onto Royal. Miso, however, going to be good for 2, making this a 1v1. Miso versus Shifu. We've seen this before. Shifu just going to talk. Absolutely make Miso tweak here. Shifu hears the stun, may have even spotted him, but opts not to chow. He's going to play bomb. And so far, my prediction has not come true. Galaxy did not come out hot after the break. They didn't take that first round, but, you know, Pot of Gold going to be able to keep that momentum alive, and Shifu going to start back after our break 2-0.
If you want anybody to be in a 1v1 situation with bomb ticking, it's going to be Shifu, and he just proved to the world why that is so. 4-3 for those of you that are just tuning in. We just had a restart because of an unfortunate technical issue. So 4-3, Pot of Gold is 2 rounds away from taking home map number 2 and making the series map or game point. And just like that, unlike we saw from last round, a lot of opening engagements here for a quick trade of a 3v3 situation.
Yeah, and, you know, taking out Royal there is actually going to be huge. Royal normally finding that opening blood. Miso not going to be able to find anything as of yet. Double A playing this cruddy spot. I love it. Managing to spot this player. That's going to be bomb down 2v3. Bomb location is known. Reckless going to come in for the reinforcements. Going to grab bomb. But now everything in Galaxy has to be screaming rotate, and it looks that way. That's exactly what they're gonna do. Miso gonna catch some terrible timing. Reckless, however, gonna be there for the trade. Bomb not in hand though. Reckless is gonna be able to find another. Oh wait, yes, he does have bomb. Sorry, making this a 1v1 double A. Idea where Reckless is gone. He's wrapping back to B through top mid. Double A has to check this, right? Oh, Reckless doesn't spot him. Double A, is he going to be able to find it? Yes, he is. And Pot of Gold.
Oh, the little head nod.
That would, man, nothing gets my blood pumping like a 1v1, even just watching it. Good Lord. Like, Double A, by the way, getting active on the map, 3-1.
Just as you asked earlier, too. You said you wanted to see him more active. Here he is. He's flipped the switch. He's telling, all right, casters, zip it. Here we go. Final kill of the round yet again for Double A. That was 6 seconds left. That's about all the time that Galaxy has right now to reconsider what they're about to go through on this defensive round.
Yeah, and, you know, Royal, I was talking about how he was such a threat and such a problem for this Pot of Gold team. Plick's going to be able to find the opener onto G-Drix. I'm struggling with that name. Good Lord. Meso going to be able to find another Reckless. Going to be able to find the trade onto Plix, though. Royal is going to get spotted. Reckless going to fall, leaving Royal currently sitting at 0-2 in a 1v3. Does spot the player heading towards A. Not going to be able to find anything. Pot of gold. Slam the door. 6-3, our final score. Well done.
Yeah, it was sort of like what you were saying earlier. I mean, it's like the ice wasn't really a mere delay of what we were about to see, an onslaught of 6 rounds unanswered by Galaxy, and overall leading pot of gold to our the possibility of another sweep for this evening. So pot of gold. It was sort of the opposite, like you said. Galaxy tends to take a little while to turn on in the series. They were pretty quick to get things going on that search and destroy, but they just couldn't finish. And pot of gold took a little while to wake up. And then they definitely flipped a switch and started doing a lot better going into that, especially knowing that those 3 rounds that they did lose, they lost by pretty darn a lot of manpower
Yeah.
was absent. So this has been a really interesting series nonetheless. And we're going to be going into a control where I honestly have zero idea where it's going to go, because we know that Galaxy can play offense. We know that they can make breaks. We know that they can win, 1v1 gunfights in the no respawn modes. We don't know how they would play with a mixture of both.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting, and we get to see Hossie again, which who isn't excited for that, right? A Hossie control, it's going to be a banger. It's going to be interesting to see how this shakes out. But as I say that, we're just going to take a quick little tour of Hossie, one of my favorite maps in Black Ops 5, 4, 4. But yeah, great map in Black Ops 4. Not a huge fan of how it plays in Black Ops 6, but
The competitive, yeah,
Who am I?
playing it competitively is a tough pill to swallow sometimes, and I'm honestly incredibly intrigued by this is the decision that these two teams decided to play on, because we don't see that much of a control on Hasi. We usually see it on Vault instead. So this would be interesting, or Protocol. But here we go. Off to the races. These fine gentlemen go. And off to slaying. Double A will lead off with the first blood, accompanied by Shifu getting the next.
Yeah, but trades on the board as well. Royal going to be able to find one, and somebody else going to be able to find another. Royal getting active early, trying to have a bounce back from that second half of the S&D. Double A on the long pinch, playing the long game. Plix going to spot his teammate there. Progress has been halted on this B point, but Reckless, bit of a stack up here. This could be catastrophic, but Shifu going to be able to find that one. Double A going to be able to find another. Shifu finding a third, making it a 1v4. Reckless going to be able to find one on that B point. However, not going to be able to find the second. Still goes untraded, though. Still lurking as I say that. Meso going to be able to find that one. G-Drix going to be able to find Shifu. Meso has the snapper and able to just peel G-Drix wig off. Royal managing to get onto this point, not able to find that kill just yet. Then there's the cleanup. Miso going to be able to find two. Plix and Shifu fall. Double A getting into the back, trying to cause some mischief. You're going to be able to find that one player on that A point. Shifu going to funnel through this top rock area. Double A going to be able to find G-Drix as well. Players falling for the side of Galaxy left and right. Double A in an absolute power position here. Going to be able to cut these players off. Plix going to fall. Double A going to be able to find G-Drix as he repositions. Does he read this player up top? Doesn't read it, but does see the red dot locked in. Doesn't manage to spot him, though. G-Drix on a bit of a pinch, trying to get into this barn. But Double A is waiting. Lurking, waiting, and G-Drix wins that one. B zone almost complete. However, Galaxy managed to fight their way in and get that tick clear.
Oh, Reckless just missed one through Rock as well, and he was made to pay for it as a result. 2 off right now in the feed for Pot of Gold. Gdrix, again, this is his round for sure. He's doing a great job at not only contesting, but cleaning up shop on these hills. But with 7.4 seconds left, 10v9 situation, Royal with a two-piece. That might just be very well it. Is it? All the reinforcements have been cut off, and yes, that'll be it. After a little bit of a battle back and forth of Tradesville, Galaxy will take round number 1, and they'll take it without letting off either of the objectives. Although it was close, they still did not let A or B get fully captured.
Yeah, and you know what? I find it interesting that Pot of Gold, I think they got a little too tunnel vision on B there. I think they focused a little too much on B. You know, you got the first tick almost immediately. Take it and run. Take it and run. Head to A. A, arguably the easier of the two to capture. A little less room to hide, but also, you know, it makes it easier to spot players as they start to funnel towards you. It's going to be interesting to see how Galaxy opts to play this. It looks like they are going for the classic headbang A. As I say that, though, Edrix does take a bit of a different route. Going to go to this top catwalk. Double A and another player are going to be able to find those. My apologies, ladies and gentlemen. Stream bugging out a little bit. Gdrix not going to be able to find anything up top, but Royal is going to be able to find Plix. Meso going to be able to find Royal. This player has been spotted top Zebra, and Double A is there for the cleanup. Reckless trying to spot Double A, but doesn't know he's already in long haul. Gets absolutely eviscerated. We're going to find some tags. 45 seconds remain. Nobody has even sniffed the point for the side of Galaxy.
No. Pot of Gold doing a great job at protecting those hills with their life, but Meso 2 off in the feed just like that. Gdrix make it the third. That'll be the cleanup that you want to see. Time is starting to tick, but so is the time over on A. And now the floodgates have opened through mid, Double A, and Shifu leading the way as they try to get that last player off of A. And again, I do apologize for the technical difficulties. It has been incredibly difficult for us to see. But overall, it still seems like the tide is rising in the favor of Pot of Gold as Galaxy has been struggling to breathe. They didn't even complete that tick on A either, by the way. So they're struggling to do that as well. A little bit of some life over at B. Top Cat, or Top Plat, excuse me, hoping that Reckless can win the gunfights that he needs to. He does. So B will keep on going. And just like that, this is the only chance right now that Galaxy has at capping a point. And I think they'll do it. I think they should. I think they have it here.
They might. There's 2 remaining there, and 1 does fall. But yeah, Galaxy going to be able to capture that point. Fairly even on lives, too. Only a 3 life advantage for the side of Pot of Gold. Reckless going to be able to find that one. And, you know, that's what I wanted to see Pot of Gold do last round. I wanted to see them shift their focus once they get shut down. Like, I don't know why they continue to just tunnel onto B, but... Excuse me. Whew. My apologies, but yeah, it's unfortunate to see, but Pot of Gold managed to stabilize here. 12-7 is the life count. 3 respawns remain for the side of Galaxy before it becomes a game of S&D for them. Meso going to be able to spot 2 players here. Don't think he knows the other player is at Rock though. Big progress on to A, big win, but Plix is going to be able to find Royal. Gdrix going to be able to find Plix, and Double A also going to fall. Big reads, but not good shots. And Meso going to be able to absolutely fry that player. Big win out of Royal. 13 seconds remain. Plix in an absolutely beauty spot here. Does get spotted out, though. Not going to be able to win that one as Royal's shots rain true. Progress once again being made on A. So close to closing this out, but Pot of Gold slammed the door. I got a little hairy for him there.
Yeah, that got really difficult, and I wouldn't say that by any means was a fun or successful round for Pot of Gold, because Galaxy did a good job at denying Pot of Gold on their offensive run either one of the 2 points in its entirety. I think the closest we got was 2 ticks over at B, but meanwhile, you flip the switch, Galaxy's got a full hill and a tick done. So with that being said, I mean, you're playing for the end game, and there isn't any other mode you play for end game more than control. So as of right now, Galaxy is winning in the ticks. And yeah, they tough pill to swallow. They weren't able to fully get the round win. It would have been nice to have that in your back pocket. But if it does go to a round 5, then they'll know confidently. As of right now, they're going to be on defense.
Yeah, but that's the thing. As of right now, things starting off hot here for Pot of Gold. Looking for that insta first tick over at this B point. Miso going to be on a bit of a pinch here, trying to spot this player. Sees his feet, is going to be able to find those shots. Gdrix running through. Progress has been stopped on B. That second tick of progress is going to
Yeah.
get cleared off. Double A on absolute ruddy. Big win at a Plix to clear out the spawn. Partially, anyways.
51 seconds left and counting. Plenty of time to work with here. Galaxy, though, is making their presence known on the map, starting to slowly but surely push farther and farther into those Pot of Gold spawns. And now they're getting into the rhythm. Now they're starting to hold angles here. They're spreading themselves out. This is not a good position to be in right now for Pot of Gold. They got to somehow break out of the cage that they've sort of been thrown into right now as time is ticking and they hear each tick for each 10 seconds. Gunshots will go back and forth. Finally, Shifu finding one that got a little too excited, jumping out towards that B hill, and now they'll keep on going with the time at B, but the life deficit might just be too overwhelming. I think it's kind of hard to tell. I think it's 15 to 24. So
Yeah, I
Pot of
think you're
Gold is
right.
struggling.
14 to 24 now, but no progress being made on either site. Royal going to be able to shut down Meso as he approaches that A point, but Double A going to be able to find that one onto Royal, making his presence felt and known. Does get cleaned up from that top white position. Clicks doing his best to cap this point. Does get tagged up down to about absolute one shot. Is going to be able to heal before getting cleaned up by Royal. Royal, just a walking three-piece, it seems. Good lord. That's back-to-back rounds. He's closed out, or back-to-back defenses. He's closed out with 3.
Once Galaxy cleared off the map, they knew what they were doing. There definitely was something they practiced or at least discussed before the game started, and that was their distribution around map, holding rock, holding mid heady, and then holding top secret. Overall, it was just beautiful across the board, like symmetrical, like military grade coverage here. Over the map by Galaxy, and as a result, it took Pot of Gold a lot of lives to break through that and get far enough out of their spawns where they actually were doing some damage on those 2 objectives. And by the time the damage started to get done, you were already looking at an over 10 life deficit and with just too little time on the clock.
Yeah, now it's up to Galaxy to close it out here. But there's a
Oh,
quick 4 dead, and the spawn trap is going to be put into play almost immediately. These garage spawns, I'm going to call them, are just abysmal to get out of. You get a player on rock, get a player lurking in your lobby, but big trades back and forth. Reckless going to be able to find one. Edric's not going to be able to find that player on the rock heady, though. Double A making his way over to B. Does get spotted out by a player in top closed. That's going to be a big win out of them. B progress being made. Reckless going to be able to find one onto Shifu. Edric's going to have the reinforcements,
this is
have
huge.
Miso's back, and this B point is starting to fly. Big
This is
read
huge.
at a Gdrix there. Good lord with the snapper, and B is going to get cleaned up.
Yeah, just like that. You flip a switch, Galaxy, they had a spawn trap on them. This time, things have changed for Pot of Gold. This time, they weren't able to hold the spawn trap as effectively, and now they're suffering the consequences of it. They're even, again, hard to tell, but I think down or at least tied in the lives. And when you're on defense, you don't want to be that much of a deficit or that close to neutrality with those lives. And that's exactly what we're starting to see right now. No real progress yet over at A. Yes, there it is. Miso just getting one more in passing before he hops the point. But now it's going to take Shifu, Pot of Gold, and a Dream to get these gentlemen off A.
Yeah, and just not going to happen. Galaxy slamming the door. 2 ticks done. Third tick on the way. Ladies and gentlemen, Galaxy escape the sweep. We get to see another hard point.
Yes, we're going to be seeing a map number 4 now as a result of Galaxy doing a great job of showing out and showing off on control. Everything was looking pretty good for them throughout the entirety of this map. I can't really say I have many critiques. They, might have lost a couple of times when they're on offense, but who usually doesn't? And as you can see right now, Gdrix, definitely the MVP for today's game. 24 and 17 with 5 assists. You'll love to see that with a 6 kills per round. Also, good job.
Yeah, just absolutely great stuff out of Gdrix there. Carrying his team to victory, so to speak. It was a pretty even performance, but just, obviously we got to shout out a standout player. Definitely be Gdrix. Although I will say Royal was piecing as well. That guy, like I said, walking 3-piece lookout. Yeah, but we have a hard point coming up now. And we sort of saw Pot of Gold run away with the last one. Galaxy fight back a little bit, and then Pot of Gold once again run away. So what do you think? What do you think the momentum is now? Do you think there's a switch? Do you think Pot of Gold is gonna close it in 4? What's the verdict here, Scabby?
Well, it's going to be a protocol hard point. And if there's one thing for sure, it's a change of pace. Definitely a change of pace that Galaxy has so far been doing a good job at, embracing because it's a larger map. Protocol, similar to Hasi, a lot of routes you can navigate through, a lot of places that you're exposed, a lot of places to expose other players. So overall, I think Galaxy, this is a good map for them. Again, this is me saying this completely without any specific, naively, without any information on the vetoes at all. But what I will say is that Galaxy seems to do a lot better when they can take a deep breath and they can let their aim as do the talking instead of the jackals. So protocol, again, not my favorite hard point, but for Galaxy, I think it is going to be one of their best performances we see of the night. So if you ask me, I think this is a spark, that Galaxy needs to keep keep going, keep warm, keep hot as they move on over to the next hard point. But I'll tell you what, we're going to be taking a very short break for now. It's going to be a hard point. It's going to be hopefully Galaxy's saving grace for map number 5. Whether or not if it is, we'll find out very soon. But keep it here as we take a short break.
my friend. You find the trying to win the gunfight. Oh no, Super able to get that one, but one more. You win it. Oh no. There's one and two. Streak, my friend. You find the trying to win the gunfight. Oh no, Super able to get that one, but one more. You win it. Oh no. There's one and two. my friend. You find a trying to win the gunfight. Oh no, Super able to get that one, but one more. You win it. Oh no. And there's one and two. Dark is gonna find two, find three, find four. And look at this L2 on another 4 streak, my friend. You find that.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Map 4 Hardpoint coming up. Pot of Gold versus Galaxy should be a banger. My name's Night Flash. I'm joined by my awesome co-caster, Scabby. Scabby, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. I mean, it's been a night of unfortunate sweeps and defeats, like we saw earlier from Omit and Houston Spartans. But it's also been a night of surprise, a night of fun, engaging times, and a night of, well, people like. Oh, I was gonna say, in a night like people like Galaxy just being stubborn and saying, hey, you guys aren't gonna sweep us tonight. We're gonna win this control and win it by a landslide, as they force a map number 4 Hardpoint against Pot of Gold. Last time we visited Hardpoint, Pot of Gold won 178 to 250. So we'll see if they can keep up the pace. And right off the rip, 3 off for Galaxy, for Pot of Gold is looking like could be a possible recipe for success as we move on over to P2 with Pot of Gold.
Yeah, and they've got these P2 spawns. The argument is still there whether or not you want to hold them from blue or from grandma's. That's just, it's kind of personal preference. It looks like Pot of Gold is opting to hold from blue, and they've got a pretty good early game lead here, you know? Got a 16-point lead now, and Plex once again just soaking up this time. Shifu going to be able to find a couple. That player doesn't manage up to get up into that top third window. Gedrick's going to go fill his position as he was taking a big knife. Don't know how that connected, but it did. Good Lord. Big trades back and forth. Plex not going to be able to find that one as Miso is going to shut it down. Shifu going to be able to find some shots. Not going to be able to find the kill, though. Meso is there for the trade. Time going into the hands of Pot of Gold. AA just soaking this time. Shifu going to be able to find Miso. Shifu does get traded, though, by Gedrix. And scrap time is going to go the way of Pot of Gold. However, rotations over to P3 have started, and P3 is about to arrive on our doorstep. Shifu coming up this bottom spiral. Is anybody going to read this? Looks like they do. No blood so far. Shifu going to be able to find the first, make it 2. Big reads. Last player left up on point is Miso. He gets cleaned up by Plex, and Shifu is out like a ghost, lurking in this mid-gun area. Going to be able to find 1, make it 2. Shifu is just popping 2-piece after 2-piece. Royal, though, going to be able to find that one onto Meso. Lex just doing his best to play his life. Gedrix trying to get in the back, trying to flip these spawns. Not going to happen just yet. Shifu in the back, playing his life. Is going to spot 1 in top spiral. Another on time is going to fall. Shifu not going to be able to find that one, though. Gedrix is going to be good for it. Meso going to find the trade. Plex is going to be first to P4 before getting taken out. Shifu on the pinch manages to hit that player just once. P4 does pop, but Shifu going to be able to find the opener. Does get traded up by Gedrix, though. Plex not going to be able to find. Finds 1. Not going to be able to find the second onto Royal. Time once again going the way of Galaxy. They are going to be able to take the lead off of this if they manage to soak the rest of this time. 20 seconds so far has gone by on this P4. AA not tries his best, but not going to be able to find this one. G-Drix in an absolute war with this player lurking boat. Not going to be able to close it out. Click's going to be able to find him before getting traded out by Miso. Miso going to be good for 2. Reckless, just locking down Spiral, doing the dirty work, doing what has to be done. G-Drix going to get picked up by AA in the back, though. AA going to be able to find another on his way to the point. Going to be able to find a third. 7 seconds remain. Currently a tie game going into this second set of rotations.
Yeah, that P4 loss there from Pot of Gold is going to cost them if they're not able to capitalize on it next time and make a successful break, because Galaxy hold damn near all of the time, and if they keep letting the boys in blue do that, they're actually going to lose the game, because that P4 rotation over to P1 usually is won by whoever was holding P4 prior to that, just statistically what I've been able to see. And overall, I mean, what happens with spawns as well, and you start to see that reflected right now. Galaxy is winning right now on this hold onto P1, a hill that you don't expect there to be much of a real dominant hold is starting to push through, but in the feed, Shifu is completely shutting me up as he finds 3 within a matter of 4 seconds, 2 on the hill and 1 from top window. And now he's gonna gracefully devour those scraps as well. And things are looking pretty good for Pot of Gold, as they've not only been able to make a nice seamless rotation over to P2 again, but they're killing anyone from Galaxy who makes that rotation through it.
Yeah, they have to kill Royal, though. Royal managing to soak this time. Spawns not in their hand. G-Drix doing God's work up in top window, just cutting off any reinforcements from mid. But AA going to be able to find Royal on that time, soaking once again. Big wins. AA going to fall. Shifu going to be able to find 1 from that top window position. Royal doing his best to find another. Shifu going to team kill AA. Time once again going the way of Galaxy. However, P3 spawns have been attained by Pot of Gold, or given, one of the two. Clicks, that was a risky one, buddy. Almost lost it there, but is able to find that player, zipping up to top window. G-Drix, however, not going to be able to find that player. Position is known as he starts to shoot. Clicks going to be able to find that one. Meso taking the long way, so to speak. Not going to be able to find the player up top third. Shifu brushes shoulders with the enemy. Does get spotted out. Bit of an ego chow there. Not going to be able to win that one quite yet. However, he was still alive. Miso going to be able to clean that player up. Click spawning up in the back. AA going to be able to find 2. No time going in the hands of Galaxy, and the contest is in. Miso going to get tags onto this player. My stream's paused. 119 to 123 is the current score. AA going to find tags onto this player. Top Cat going to be able to find that kill. Absolutely massive. Reckless and Miso going to combine for 3 there. Royal already on his way to new. Going to be able to find Miso, who was lurking. Reckless coming down. Not going to be able to find anything. Gets shut down by a player lurking at bottom. Spiral. AA. Good for 3. Is he going to make it 4? Don't do it to him. This player's position is known. He's been called out. Shifu drops. Manages to tag him up. Absolutely spectacular pinch. But things start to crumble around the point. Royal and Miso going to combine for a couple. Miso on a bit of a pinch. Big win onto AA. You can't lose those, Sonny. Miso with another. Just on an absolute tear. Royal going to be able to find 2 of his own. This is where the Jackal lives. This is just a breeding ground for the Jackal. Clips on clips. Royal still going. Currently on a 3. Miso also on a 3. Trades starting to come in, though. The final 14 seconds look like they're going to go the way of Pot of Gold. Not going to be able to quite tie it, but they're going to get darn close. Big win out of Shifu. Good Lord. Reckless almost flipped the script on him there. Shifu, is he going to get spotted? No, but Royal going to be able to find clicks in the cruddy corner. Shifu does get picked up by Reckless. Eventually, Meso going to be able to find one onto G-Drix before getting traded out by Miso. Big shots raining in. Double A going to be able to clean Royal off the time. Plick's going to take this mid-gun position. Not going to be able to find anything. Time still being accrued by Pot of Gold. Gedrix finally able to shut that down. 20-point lead for Galaxy. The biggest lead they've had so far. Royal does get stuck, but time still going the way of Galaxy. Shifu battling for his life. Somehow doesn't kill that player. Had to be absolute one shot. Good lord. Big win from Gedrix. Double A going to be able to find Royal. Scrap is going to go the way of Pot of Gold, but just it's not enough. 33-point lead. They do manage to get rotation once again to this P2, but once again, Royal managing to get in, instantly break. Massive kills there. Shifu going to be good for 2, though, as these players start to funnel through mid. Double A has to get there to support his team. Manages to find one. Meso going to find the other. They know these players are going to be funneling through mid. Meso just going to tuck himself behind this white box. Reckless and Gedrix going to find a couple. 20 seconds needed to tie. Sorry, 29 seconds needed to tie this up. Galaxy is finally going to get on to this P2 time. Every second ticking by is another nail in the coffin as we start to reach this end game scenario. It is winnable on P3. Royal playing for these players, rotating through bottom mid. Gonna hit the lurk. Gonna be able to find one. Almost finds 2. But Meso is going to be good for that one. Reckless tucked away in a corner. 25 seconds remain before they close the door, sending us to a game 5. Gedrix on a bit of a route here. Gonna not to take this zip up. Plick's gonna be able to find one there before getting traded out. Time once again going the way of Galaxy. Thought Galaxy may have missed a spawner, but no, they did not. That's gonna be a good 2 dead. 10 seconds remaining. Double A gonna be able to get in. You find one, not gonna be able to find anything else, and there's 3 players now for Galaxy on this time. This is going to be a massive exchange here. 5 seconds left, 10 seconds left on this time. All they have to do is get a break and hold for a little bit. Start rotating to new now. If you're the side of Pot of Gold, big opening win. They can win it on P5. They just have to be perfect. Shifu's going to get tagged up there. Meso going to be able to find him. Meso coming back in for the reach out. Does get tagged up. Brought down to just about 1. Big wins out of Double A, but Meso's there for the trade. But Plick's able to find that one on to Meso. Good lord, trades back and forth. Gedrix getting involved. Gets taken out by Plick's. This is unbelievable.
Yeah, you can't win it anymore, though, on this hill either. It's going to boil down to P1 if Pot of Gold isn't able to keep cycling Galaxy right now through the blender as they've been able to do. Only a couple of seconds, 3 seconds, and you know darn well Galaxy is going to be running with all their might to get on the hill. There's 2 and 3 and 4. And just like that, in a matter of seconds, what we thought was going to be the comeback of a lifetime, Pot of Gold will fall to Galaxy. It's going to be forcing a map 5.
Yeah, that was unreal. That was an absurd exchange, and really what it boils down to is Pot of Gold's lack of control on that P5. That's really all that loss boils down to.
Yeah, they weren't able to hold the money hill like at all for a consistent amount of time.
P4.
Yeah, they weren't able to hold the money hill at all throughout the entirety, at least for a respectable amount of time, right? For the entirety of the series, and I said it from the get-go, from the beginning of the map. If you can't hold it, you're gonna lose, and they unfortunately did. And it wasn't even honestly just the P4; it was that P1 second rotation around Pot of Gold. Just wasn't able to find anything that was working or was connecting, and Galaxy was taking complete advantage of it. And overall, it was once they found themselves from that P1 second rotation, things just started going crazy for Galaxy. And, the lead started getting ever so hard to catch for Pot of Gold.
No, I completely agree. And, what more can you ask for a kickoff event, for a kickoff series?
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately, the first series of the night was a 3-0, but, you know, Pot of Golden Galaxy, our first game 5, and it's opening night. Are you serious? Are we
Yeah.
gonna get to see our first round 11 opening night?
Yeah,
Come on.
it could very well happen, and I'd be excited to see it. And not only is it just going to be a potential, or it is going to be a map 5 potential of a reverse sweep on the horizon as well from Galaxy. So things could very well falter, crumble for the pot of gold. It could just very well be like I said. It's like sound like a broken record saying this, but the luck could have run out. I mean, that honestly could be because Galaxy looked like two completely different teams from the last time we saw them on the hard point in the control.
Yeah, and this is, this S&D is really gonna sort of tell the tale of who's got more reps and who's more comfortable on this S&D, who's got the ice red card S&D. How often do we see red card S&D? Once in a blue moon, maybe?
Yeah, red card is a fun map to play on. I know a lot of people aren't hugely keen on it, but I just say it's fun because we don't see it that often in Search and Destroy. We almost never see it. I probably this is probably like the fifth time. I mean, only a handful of times I've been able to actually cast a map like red card. So unlike Vault. Unlike like we see on Hacienda, there is no specific point or objective you got to expect teams to go into on red card. So I'm curious to see what these two teams opt to do. Pot of Gold, they've got something to defend. They want to put this game away once and for all. And Galaxy looking to make a run of a lifetime. So here we go. First split already favoring Reckless.
Yeah, and Reckless just an absolute problem with the AR for the side of Pot of Gold. AA going to be able to find one. Miso going to be able to find tags. Just emptying the clip, trying to find anything else onto Shifu. Pedrix sniffing this
Oh,
player's
wait, look at
hair.
this.
Has
Look how
no
close they are.
idea. No idea. Doesn't even spot him. Oh my goodness, Gedrix, is your monitor on?
Yeah, I mean,
Flicks.
hey, he's done a pretty good job throughout most of the series. So I guess it's his excuse to I don't know, kind of sell there. But it seems like Pot of Gold is going to take this round home unless Miso can do something crazy and get 3 off in a matter of 40 seconds.
Finds the opener fairly early. Is he going to be able to find the other two though, or is he going to get this ninja? Seems to know there's a player playing back here. Plix is going to get tagged up. Miso.
Oh no!
Stun does connect. So does a bullet, but Plix managing to get out. Gets into bottom stage. Oh my goodness!
No!
Miso with the
No.
zapper. No, don't let him do it to you.
Okay,
oh, Plix.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
That was a little concerning there. I was a little concerning, Pot of Gold. You should have won that round a long time ago.
No, I agree. And, I will also say another thing possibly playing into Gedrix, sort of selling there a little bit. The mental fatigue. These guys have been going for a solid hour and a half at this point. So, it does take a toll, especially, it's our first day back. You're not used to competing again. Like, it does take a mental toll on these players, which is something that I find isn't talked about enough. Just the exhaustion of having to be locked in for this long. Obviously when it comes to our cups and stuff, these players have to be locked in for a lot longer. But it's our first day, it's our first game back. Cut them a little bit of slack. AA in a great spot to play upset here, though, giving away absolutely nothing.
4v4 situation, and I'm sure Galaxy's aware that nothing will be given unless you fight tooth and nail to get it. Miso trying to get that first engagement going, but it'll be Shifu who gets one from Rally, and Miso getting Shifu. A little bit of a disgusting turn on there with the pistol. But overall, no real movement onto the objectives. So looks like Galaxy's going to shrug their shoulders here, cut their losses, and start to make that rotation back over to A, or at least until they're undecisive enough to make a decision. But there we go. Miso putting Galaxy in a power position right now to go right back to B and just start encroaching onto that point. Till eventually Miso will be sought out from Jaw, and GD will get the trade in the process. 1v2 situation here.
Yeah, this is going to be big out of Meso, though. He does get spotted out. Going to be able to find that first.
Oh!
Second player gets onto the head. He does escape with his life. 29 HP remaining. if you're this other player, you have to play bomb. You can't chase this kill, which is exactly what they're doing. Meso, however, you may want to think about a reposition. No, big win. Meso with the 1v2. 2-0 is the score after our second round in S&D, or pot of gold just goaded at S&D or what?
Yeah, it might be their mode for sure. And yeah, great valiant effort and a great display of just trigger discipline as well. Meso knew from that first time these two engaged with each other at honestly this exact spot. Meso knew he was probably going to lose his gunfight, and so as a result, he took a step back. He realized, okay, bomb is planted. It's not what I want to see, but what I do want to see is 40. Or actually, I don't remember how much time he had before he chowed there, but he had a fair amount of time before he rechowed bombs. So that's when you know he had enough time to get mentally prepared for that fight. And as a result, yes, you have bomb sight in your hand if you're Galaxy and you're your G-Drix, you have the bomb right next to you, but it's also complacency, and it's also sometimes you get a little jittery because you don't know when that chaw is going to go through.
Yeah, and the other thing too, you don't know where it's going to come through. He could have rotated, he could have played for that little bit of friendly antics there, but could have played for that rotation. Instead, he opts to reach out the exact same angle and manages to find the kill. G-Drix, however, going to be able to find 2 of his own on this round. A little salty about that 1v2 maybe. Plex going to be able to find one on to Meso, looking for more. Playing this heady Royal locked in. Not going to be able to find any shots onto that player there. G-Drix playing this close angle. Plix going to be able to find him as well. Plix trying to play the upset man. Double A watching the run through. Reckless going to bang that door. Royal going to slow play this. Definitely did just spot Plix. Plix is aware, though.
Oh,
Royal
no.
is good for it. Hits the wall bang. Double A with the reposition. Don't think they know. They might, though.
He's right behind him. 7.5 to defuse. You got to check bomb right now, but he unfortunately tried, and Royal sniffed him out like a canine dog.
Yeah.
And immediately signaled over. Got him done and dusted. Galaxy finally answering one of their own for the round.
Yeah, and that was really well played by Galaxy. Obviously, I think I'm going to give the MVP of the round there to G-Drix, managing to find the first 2, just putting pot of gold on the back foot. But super well done at a Plex to find 2 of his own, and just kind of crumbled from there.
New round, new page, at least for now that you get to see. For Galaxy, you'd love to see second straight win to tie things up on both sides. Your pot of gold. Again, you're kind of just trying to get this freaking game over with already to turn off the PlayStation or Xbox, PC, whatever you play on. So overall, another round through. Galaxy tasked with the offensive charge this time. Pot of gold just going to sit back, relax, and enjoy the trades as Reckless will find one.
Yeah, and Shifu going to be able to find the opener there, but Plex not going to read this player behind him. Does momentarily, but not going to be able to find anything. Reckless. Some bad timing there. May have been able to find Plex if he had stayed in that area. However, he doesn't. Opts to take sight.
They don't even see each other.
Oh. A little bit of a snake there, but that was kind of just, those were nasty shots.
I was going to say, Meso didn't see him there for a minute until eventually, yeah, he did. He was like, oh, yep, coming through doorway right now. And there goes Reckless. The first person to get a kill for the side of Galaxy will be the last one to fall to end the round. And favorite pot of gold, 3-1. Last time we were playing Search, wasn't too far off the nose in terms of scoring. It was 3-0 Galaxy. Now it's 3-1 pot of gold about mid-map. So whether or not if Galaxy makes that same comeback is to be determined at this point in time as we head off to the races yet again and head off to slaying on those objectives just as Shifu will do through mid-map and establish that control. But Double A, not so lucky.
Yeah, it's just an unfortunate gunfight to have to take there, especially against Reckless, posted up, locking down that lane. not going to be able to find anything. Royal going to be able to find Shifu. Big shots at a Meso, but Meso is brought down to just about one shot.
Oh, I don't
It's
know.
not in. Now it is. There he goes. Meso going to fall underneath the stage. 3-2, the score. Are we going to see a repeat of map 2?
Oh, at this point, I'm not exactly sure. Galaxy has the opportunity to do it. I mean, in these rounds specifically, they're not winning by, barely by the skin of their teeth. They're actually showing dominance, especially in these defensive rounds. So now again, we're seeing them at the offensive side. They've been struggling with that a lot tonight. So hopefully they can make the unthinkable possible and take the third round and tie things up, which will put Pot of Gold in a really uncomfortable situation. It looks like it's going to be an A push, but it's going to be red pretty darn nicely by Pot of Gold. And now you'll start to see the arrows in the bottom left corner rotate and deny that A push.
Yeah, 2 is an interesting spot. 8 very close to 2. Is he going to spot him here, though? No, I don't think he is. G-Drix up onto this top bush heady. Nothing going down so far. Both teams sort of feeling each other out, too. Going to be able to be such an upset here if they don't check this. Royal going to hop over. Is going to find 2, and that is just not what you want to see. Bomb is being planted. Does get cleaned up, though, from top stage. Shifu going to get tagged up by G-Drix. Sorry, by Meso, but Meso is there to find Meso, and bomb not being planted. However, the player is there. Royal gonna be able to tag that player up top glass. 2v2 Meso and AA versus Reckless and Royal. Royal having himself a map, currently sitting at 6 and 3.
Oh, you can go for the defuse if you wanted to. Would have had time at this point, but not enough time is left. And Royal, the Tootsies, the feet are out. Royal will expose them all as Meso 1v2 situation, just toying with him right now as Galaxy has it tied things up. And now would look to be like an early night to the point where you've been able to get the game shut off by about 45 minutes into the series. Become a nightmare for Pot of Gold that you just want to put to rest.
Yeah, it's this is getting long. This is getting long for both sides of these players, but it seems like Galaxy has the gas in them, or they're just starting to wake up now. One of the two, but this is looking a little rough for Pot of Gold. Looking like they're starting to sputter, starting to falter just at the finish line. 3-3 is our score line in this game 5. So gonna try and find Reckless in this top class area. If he's able to find this kill, it's going to be huge for his team. It's such a power position. Meso looking for this flank. He's already top seats. Where is he going to go from there? Shifu going to be able to spot this player. Back beer, not going to be able to find anything on him though. Able to find some tags. Not going to be able to find the kill. The 4v4 plant is down, making this a 4v4 retake. Realistically, Galaxy can play the trade here a little bit. G-Drix trying to find any kind of information. Shifu may have just been spotted. I'm not sure, but AA on just a cruddy. Oh my goodness, he finds another. That's 3 down for Galaxy. Reckless on a pinch, managing to find one, but Plix is going to be here, manages to spot him out. The comm is in. He's top stage. AA tucked bottom stage still. Reckless doesn't see him, and AA going to be able to clean that one up. 4-3 is the score. It's Pot of Gold showing signs of life here.
That was a good stop right there. Galaxy went on a run there for a minute. I mean, they got 2 in a row, and that's not the 2 in a row that you want to see, especially mid-map. So Pot of Gold doing a good job of shutting that down quickly. Because I think if Galaxy were to take the lead there and get to 4, I mean, like I said, once you start getting that momentum going, things just start feeling a lot easier for your side. So Pot of Gold still putting Galaxy in its place, regaining the lead so far for this round, and it seems like Double A is having his own tech difficulties, but he's been able to fix it. And in due time, because Galaxy, they're playing really slow right now, but it looks like it's going to be an A push. And Pot of Gold, hopefully they can read this and counter it well, but it doesn't seem like Galaxy is doing a good job of, staying true to that push.
Yeah, Plex going to be able to find Bomb Carrier and G-Drix and just get out. He made for the hills like a pachyderm. Look at him go. He is now in P2 playing the deep back. Sorry about that. Not sure what's going on upstairs. But Meso going to be able to find Royal, making this a 2v4. Shifu tucked away in this 8-point. Reckless going to be able to find Meso, making his way through Ticket. Miso trying to find this kill. Not going to be able to find anything, though. Manages to tag the player up, but has to leave before reinforcements show up. Miso going to be able to find Shifu, though, making this a 2v2. The question is, do they take this A or do they stick it out B? Or stick it out A. Plick's going to be able to find that one. The bomb carrier once again. Miso going to be able to find another, making this a 1v1. Double A versus Miso. Not a lot of time left. He has to commit to this 8-point. And
beautiful.
Double A plays it to perfection, reads the plant, finds the shots. 5-3. Pot of Gold are on series point right now.
Yeah, they're taking the Advil and they're trying to get rid of this headache as quick as they can. And part of getting rid of that is just winning the series already. They've been up 2-0 up until that control. So now, 7 seconds left. Galaxy, you've been able to come out swinging in every other map that you need to. You've won at every other point that you have to win to stay alive. Now, you gotta take 3 rounds in a row to make this reverse sweep a reality.
Miso is getting red here like a book, though. That iron is strong out of that player, but Miso is going to be able to find one onto Shifu. Does manage to escape with his life. Is tagged up to about 65 HP. Miso with a bit of a snake. Going to be able to find one. Miso going to be able to find the trade. Plix going to be able to find Reckless. So still alive. 2v2. Bomb is down in B site. Not sure if that is known by Galaxy, though. Double A going to run up these stairs. Oh my goodness. This could be so beautiful.
Oh, it's red. Oh my
goodness, Royal.
The timing in his favor. We often hear COD timing in, bad situations, but this was a good one. This one actually helped Royal in the process. Bomb still down. Plix is not moving. It's a stalemate between the three. Everyone just looking, waiting for the move to be made. Beautiful trigger discipline by Royal, but it's not enough. Headshot to the face. 13 seconds, and Miso will shut him down, humble him, turn off the stove, because Plix isn't cooking any 2v1 clutches tonight.
You know what? I think he has to play the plant there.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not sure what that was.
He's got to bait him into running in.
I'm not sure what that was, to be honest with you. I wasn't sure. Maybe he thought it was going to be a good read. He was going to catch him off rotation or something. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know either, but
I was confused about that, to be honest with you. I thought you just grab bomb and sit on bomb.
Yeah, or just even fake the plant, and just play for the kill. But you live and you learn. We're hopping into this round 10. So close. Can you taste the round 11? I can. Royal gonna be able to find an absolute angle onto Plix there, making this a 3v4 off the rip. Meso's position is known. He's on 6 HP. He's fighting for his life. G-Drix playing beautiful. Check this A bomb. Gonna tell his team it's clear. Bomb is going to go down, making this a 3v. Make it a 2v4 retake as Meso falls. 2v3 now as Reckless falls in the background. Double A doing his best to get his team back into this round. Shifu and Double A playing the team pinch. Double A a little bit further ahead. Does get spotted out. He's going to be able to find one. Playing his life so perfectly well right now. Waiting for Shifu to come in with the reinforcements. G-Drix going to be able to find Double A, though. Shifu going to be able to find G-Drix. Shifu finds the tags. Not a lot of time left. This player has to play his life. Is he going to be able to? Yes, he is. No time remaining. Shifu able to find the kill. Not going to be able to find the round, though, as I believe that was Miso played his life to a T.
Round 11.
I told
Here we
you
go.
I could smell it. I told you I could smell it.
It was, well, whether or not if it's going to be cooked up by Galaxy or Pot of Gold, I guess, is the next thing you'll smell within the next couple of minutes or seconds, what have you.
Nose going here. Let me get the nose going here.
Yeah, we've seen crazier things going on, to be honest with you, on Search and Destroy. So here we go. This is it. 4 lives, and then you're done. You put the controller down, and you just have forced to watch your teammates play. It's going to be a much slower round, I think, everyone. Here we go.
We say that, but a lot of progress being made by B very early by Galaxy. Miso kind of stalled out here. Or does get busted open. But Shifu just doing his best to play his life. Not going to be able to find the shots onto that player, though. Does bust the door. Big chase. Miso going to be able to find 2. Miso going to be able to find Miso. Shifu going to shut down Reckless. Miso in a 1v3. Going to be able to find Shifu, making this a 1v2. Does get spotted out in Ticket. Doing his best to play his life. Keeping Galaxy's hopes and dreams alive. But the pinch is on, and Pot of Gold ice up. Game 5. Round 11. 1 round away from getting reverse swept. And they slam the door.
But no, if I'd be super proud of that Search and Destroy, man. I mean, if you're Pot of Gold fan, you're not feeling very lucky throughout the entirety of that map, and you're feeling nervous up until the very bittersweet end. But at least they deliver. I mean, gosh.
Exactly.